after this, you should keep that in mind. So one customer and one loan, right? So a customer can choose to have no loans whatsoever. So a customer is said to have a partial participation for loans. A customer can choose to have no loans, so zero or more loans, right? But a loan would always have one or more customers. Be it any cardinality, it would have one or more customers, right? So this information is never represented in the relationship model. We can choose to represent this sort of a relationship using triggers or using some other constraints, but this is not that easily represented in SQL. Maybe later down the line, if they make more changes to the SQL language itself, we can actually represent something like this. But in general, this relationship is not explicitly provided in your SQL language. But this is something that you can imagine occurs quite frequently, right? A customer does not have loans, may not have loans, but a loan will always have a customer, right? So if every entity in E participates in at least one relationship, we say that it's a total participation. If only some entities participates in that relationship, so if only some customers have loans, we say that it's a partial relationship. So a loan to customer relationship is total. Every loan has a customer. So that's a total relationship. A customer to loan participation is partial. Every customer does not have a loan. Few customers have loans, right? Okay. Yeah, as I said. So a customer might not have a bank loan. They have a bank account, but they might be a new customer and they don't have a loan, right? That is the nicer choice. So the customer to borrower relationship with loan is partial, but every loan has at least one customer, whatever cardinality, does not matter. But every loan has at least one customer, so that is a total relationship, right? Okay. So how do we represent this in the ER diagram? So a partial participation is shown by a single line. A total participation is shown by a double line. So this means that every loan, double line, every loan needs a customer, or every loan needs to have a value to whatever it relates to. You can have more than one relationship. You can even have another relationship. Let me see. Can I copy this? No. Give me a second. Give me a second. Let me show you. Right. So let's say that we have another table here, and whatever it's called, let's say it's called something. You know what, I'm going to call it something. Right. And let's say that it relates to this relationship table somehow, right? So this means that customers can choose to have no loans. Entities in the something table can choose to have no loans. But if we have a loan table that has an entry, that means that they need to have a corresponding entry in customer and they need to have a corresponding entry in something, right? Does that make sense? A loan table needs to have a corresponding customer and something entry. So going back, partial participation is shown by a single line. Total participation is shown by double lines. So if something has to have all possible values in the corresponding relationship, we show it with a double line. So let's take the hitman table. I love the hitman table. So a hitman may not have any kills, right? A hitman may not have killed anyone, but every kill needs to have a hitman. And let's say that there are 3 organizations with their own hitman. Each organization has, let's say, 5 hitmen. So so that means that that is a partial relationship to the hitman relationship that would have a total relationship with a kill. Akhil would have to have a single relationship with a particular Hitman organization, right? Yes, partial versus total, exactly. Could you, so a loan would have to, so how? What I mean is a loan would have to have a customer. A customer does not have to have a loan. That is partial versus total, right? Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. So that was partial and full. Usually, and this would also come up in your assignment 5 as well. So usually students actually do this for assignment 5. So we can also have these representations in terms of numerical constraints. So by numerical constraints, we mean that instead of having a double line or a single line, people actually give you the number of possible constraints that we can have. So we say that we have an entity set, we have a relationship set, and we say that this is a relation that can have one or more relationships. So one dot dot star. Star basically means unlimited or more. So it means that this entity set is participating in this relationship with one or more. So it has to have at least one or more. If this was 0 to 3, then it means that this entity set can have no relationship whatsoever or up to 3. That means that a customer can have 0 loans or at max 3 loans, right? 0 to 3 would mean that a customer can have 0 loans or at max 3 loans, right? Etc. So this is quite self-explanatory. You guys can understand this. So basically, instead of very good question. So whenever we have star, it sort of means unlimited or growing, right? If we want it to include 0, we would say 0 dot dot star instead of just a star, right? Because a star itself is a bit ambiguous. So star means growing. So essentially we would say the starting point as well, not just a single star. Does that make sense, Taha? It sort of does not exclude a 0. Star means unlimited. So it grows with having any positive value. We will never have just a single star. We would say 0 to star or 1 to star, basically. Right? Yes, how? Okay. All of those mapping cardinalities can also be represented using these 1 to star or 0 to star things. And we can also represent participation using these stars as well. So if we want a total participation with a lower bound of at least 1, we can say 1 to star. That means that we need at least one tuple to be mapped. If we want a partial participation, we can say 0 to star or 0. Right, that is, it does not require any participation, or 0 to star means more than 0, 0 or more participations, right? Okay. So for the customer and borrower relationship for loan, we would say that a customer relates to loan with 0 to star. So 0 or more customers can have a loan, but every loan would have a single customer. This means that this is a, does it say somewhere here? So many to one relationship. So yes, a customer in this representation here, a customer can have 0 or more loans, but each loan can be owned by exactly one customer, right? So it's a many to one relationship. If we want a many to many relationship, we would have 0 dot dot star, and this would be 1 dot dot star, right? If it's a many to many, it would be 0 dot dot star and 1 dot dot star. Do you agree? Or am I wrong? So that means that a customer may or may not have a loan. So 0 to star relationship with borrower. A loan would have to have at least one or more customers. Yorge, 0 or more for customer, 1 or more for loan, right? If it's a many to many, exactly. So this is a one to many relationship, that if it is 0 to star and 1 to 1, right? Okay. So if that makes sense, we can also have many to many relationships, one to many to one, and so on, right? So, and one to one as well. So that makes sense. So now let's talk a bit about roles in our diagrams, right? So we talked about roles as in what is the role that individual entities play when we are relating them with different entities, right? So a laptop and an owner means that our owner owns a laptop and a laptop is owned by an owner, right? So that is a relationship that we have. That is the role of that particular entity. Roles are not usually represented in your ER diagram because it is quite obvious, right? When we had that laptop and I deleted that. But essentially, our role is quite obvious in terms of what the relationship is. But sometimes roles might be a bit more ambiguous, right? So we might not understand what that role is. And the best example for this would be the employee and manager representation, right? So let's say that we have a table of employee information, employee ID, employee name, blah, 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 all of those things. Out of those employees, one employee could be a manager that maybe supervises other employees. So some employees are working for that manager and manager is sort of supervising those employees. But all of those employee and managers are represented by the same single table. So how would we represent a diagram that shows that relationship, where the relationship is between the same table, right? So you can imagine something like this. Let me copy this again. Give me a sec while I erase stuff. So imagine the situation where the employee table itself contains all the manager information as well, right? So that would be something like this, right? That relationship would look something like this, where we would have this, right? So it's a one to many relationship where multiple employees can work for a particular manager. Let's assume that this is for managers, right? So both of those employees are, both of managers and employees are in the same table, but it's a table that relates to itself, right? So keep this in mind. I just unrolled that representation into two separate tables. But in essence, it is just a single table that relates to itself. So in general, it is an employee that has a many to one relationship with managers. One manager can have multiple employees, but one employee needs to have one or zero or more managers.